Hello, this is Jet Black Real Life Superhero here. Let's see. I have not done a Rlsh 101 video in a long time, and I felt like it was about that time. So, I am about to do a Rlsh 101 video. This one's pretty long. I wrote a lot of stuff, so let's get started. First thing I like to talk about is suits. There are actually 3 different types of suits. There are cloth suits, padded suits, and armored suits. Cloth suits are the easiest to produce, they're the lowest in cost, but they don't actually serve any protection, you know what I mean? If you get in a fight in a cloth suit, it's practically the same as getting a fight in your normal clothing. Padded suits. Padded suits can help in close combat and protect from falls, but won't protect from knives or gunfire. Pads can be purchased from your local sporting goods store. And when I say pads, I mean like sports pads. Like what you would wear if you were skateboarding or roller skating, and for more that cover like your center body, I guess you would say football pads and hockey pads and stuff. Armored. Armored is kind of what you see more of the bigger Rlsh names wear. Like I would say Citizen Prime wears armored, and Matches Malone of the UJLA, he wears armored. Armored is normally like rubber or Kevlar armor, though I have seen metallic armor, though the metallic armor to me looks like it's more or less padding. Like it's separated areas that are metal. They're not really full body. And they can protect from knives and gunfire depending on the quality. Like I know you might be thinking rubber, but apparently if you have it stacked up enough, the layers can really absorb impact and crap. And they can drastically slow movement. They can be heavier than just, wearing cloth or pads. So you have to be wary of that when picking out what suit you want. Mask. Aesthetic mask. They are made from cloth or rubber. They're the lowest cost out of the other mask, and they provide no additional function or protection. Most people say masks are very important. They help protect your identity. And if you're going to go with aesthetic, I would say get a cloth mask. Like I wear a rubber mask, and they're okay. They have more features to them, which I like. But what I don't like is that the way they feel on your face is odd. They're not comfortable, really. That depends on your mask strap, but the material also is very important when it comes to comfortability. Protective. A helmet, either with a visor or paired with goggles. And what I mean by that is a motorcycle helmet has a visor, so you don't have to worry about it, covering your eyes, which is like the whole point. It's supposed to cover your eyes, which is what keeps people from knowing who you are. But if you have the helmets that stop here, then it's a good idea to pair them with goggles or pair them with an aesthetic mask. That way it still protects your identity while also having the protection of a helmet. Helmets are good in case of falls or close combat, because if you get hit in the head with a bat or something and it hits you on the helmet part, then you're fine, and if you fall and you land on the helmet part, then you're fine. I'm not saying you can't get injured by wearing a helmet and falling on your head. I'm just saying it's more protective than if you just straight up fell on your head. Functional. And I know that you'd be thinking that protection and function should be the same thing, but I separate them a lot, and there are other sections where I will separate them. Functional does not provide protection, is what I say, but I know that protection is a function. And they can be like goggles that support night vision, and they can be purchased from your spy store. Another example of functional would be the helmets that have head-mounted cameras, because they allow for you to record patrols from your point of view, and there are also sunglasses that you can buy that come with cameras built in to where you can record your control, you can record your patrols, but you can also keep a low profile and cover your eyes, and sunglasses are cool. So there you go. That's like all the reasons to get the functional sunglasses. Common gadgets. Combat gadgets. Combat gadgets are normally non-lethal weapons like batons, staves, and predators. Now, you may not know what a predator is, but if you've seen the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats, then you would know that a predator is a small non-lethal weapon that has all these different edges and crap on it, and it can be used in so many different ways. It can even be used as a non-lethal throwing weapon, there are a lot you can do with a predator. So, predators are actually one of my favorites. I just don't own one. I would love to get one. You can order them online, apparently, so that would be cool. Batons and staves can be purchased online, but to be honest, you could make them yourselves if you had the material. Like a wooden staff or a bamboo staff, or a wooden baton or a bamboo baton is not that hard to come by. Though I live in an area where bamboo grows everywhere, so it's not that hard for me to do that. It may be harder for other people. If you are going to buy online, don't buy wood online. Buy the metal extendable ones. And make sure they are not hollow. They should not be hollow. That defeats the purpose. Make them a good thickness, and the cool thing about extendable is they normally fit into a little belt holster, and they also are inconspicuous. Like, they could be like this big, and then you flick them, and then they're like this big. So they're very helpful. Detective gadgets. These gadgets include notepads, pocket flashlights, digital cameras, fingerprint kits, and night vision scopes. Police scanners also fall under this category, but it's not really easy to get a hold of a police scanner, and they can be purchased at a spy store. The other gadgets, I mean. I'm not sure if you can get a police scanner at a spy store. If you can, post in the comments below. Storage. These include tool belts, trench coats, backpacks, other jackets that have lots of pockets but aren't exactly trench coats. I know there's a type of pants that has like a bunch of pockets. I think they're called cargo pants or whatever, but I'm not sure if the pockets are big enough to really be useful like that. Pretty much anything where you can store a gadget, that would be storage. Stun gadgets. These you will see a lot in videos. You have pepper spray, stun guns, taser batons. You have those flashers that I've seen, and they're really, really bright, and they go. And those are good for helping quickly blind people. You also have flashbangs, but flashbangs are harder to come by. I know that you can get bangs pretty easily. They don't do the blinding flash, but they actually make a loud, explosive noise, and they can stun you. And then you have Theatrical. And Theatrical and stun can kind of fuse in certain places. But here are the more theatrical related things, because, like I said, the flashers and the bangs that don't do the flash, but they just kind of go boom, those kind of fall into theatrical, but they're more stun. Here is theatrical. Fireworks, smoke bombs, flower bombs, and sonic grenades. And these are mostly used as distractions. They can either be homemade, like the flower bomb can be made simply by taking not tin foil, but the clear plastic wrap, putting flour on it and tying it into like a little baggie, and then you throw it down and the flour kind of escapes and creates a cloud. They're way more reliable than smoke bombs, I feel. Because if you use a smoke bomb, you have to kind of be out of sight already, then light the smoke bomb, and it'll take a minute before it starts producing like a big cloud, and then once it starts producing more smoke, you can throw it in. And I just feel like it takes too much time. Flower bombs are much faster. I've carried flower bombs, but I've never actually gotten a chance to use them. I also carry a few fireworks. I don't really find a chance to use them. Theatrical gadgets are more or less optional, but they can be useful. I'm interested in getting sonic grenades. You can actually find sonic grenades at thinkgeek.com for a reasonable price, and they're supposed to be as loud as like a chainsaw being right next to your ear. And you can just kind of throw them, and then boom, they go off. And you can set different timers and stuff. Fireworks can obviously be found at a fireworks stand, and smoke bombs fall into the category of fireworks, so they also are available at a fireworks stand. Contact. Contact would be your cell phone, pretty much. Cell phones, and these can be used for contacting the authorities, contacting your oracle, taking notes, and viewing crime maps. Like, cell phones nowadays can do so much. They're very useful, even for Rlshing. First aid. Cannot emphasize first aid enough. To be honest, when I originally made this list, I did not put first aid down, but first aid makes a lot of sense. Small portable first aid kits are very important in case of injury, not just of yourself, but of others around you. You're stopping criminals, and sometimes you may stop them from killing someone, but not from just hurting someone. And if that person really needs help right then and there, maybe you can help them with like some antiseptic, some cotton balls, etc. Like bandages, things that can help out right then and there. Let's see. Finding criminals. Finding criminals is one big thing that a lot of people have trouble with. You can go on patrols in your area, but if you find that your area seems crime-free, which most areas are not crime-free, even if they appear to be crime-free, here are some other ways. Crime maps. There are many free websites that have updated maps that mark where crimes have occurred in your area. However, these maps are sadly updated after the fact and are unreliable. And many crime maps do not cover small areas. Like, if you feel like your city is known, but it's not like Chicago or something, you may or may not be on a crime map. Like, Rocket City appears on crime maps, but they don't really update them at all, like for our area. So I found that crime maps have not been very useful for here. Police scanners. Having access to police scanners are a luxury, like not everyone has that ability. I can get access to some every once in a while. It's not that hard. But then again, I'm kind of am in a family that's known to be with law enforcement, so it's like right down the hall, so it's not that bad. And then the cool thing about police scanners is that you can get updates in real time on what's going on in your area, which is very preferable. Google Alerts. Google Alerts are the easiest way to be updated on crimes in real time. And by in real time, I mean as soon as an internet news source knows of something, you know of something. Pretty much the best way to do it is put in like a street name that's a street where you can get easy access to. Like, you can get there in a snap, and there's crime there, but you normally would miss it. If there are any active crimes that the news already has, like, information on, or if a crime has happened in that area already, the news will pull it up, especially if it's ongoing. Like, if it's one of those things where someone reported it to the news, and then the news reported it on TV, and then the news put it on the internet, you will get it as soon as it hits internet stage, if not television stage, from someone else who's reporting on the internet based off of what they saw on TV. So it's a really fast way to get information, especially if you put on Google Alerts as it happens, meaning instead of getting updates once a day, you get it every single time someone says, blah blah blah, 3rd Avenue, crime. Then it'll be emailed to you as soon as it occurs. You'll get the blog and all the information concerning it, and I find that Google Alerts is the best way for me personally to get information on crimes in my area in a snap, other than police scanners. Transportation. Quick and simple. These are vehicles that don't need gas or electricity and are easily portable. These include skateboards and foldable scooters. Now you may be thinking, why not bicycles? Because in my common experience, bicycles are not the best for relshing, because you end up getting off of your bicycle and then you're worried about whether or not your bicycle will be stolen, and when you get to the point where you're going to stop riding your bicycle and walk around with it, it just feels like a lot to carry. However, if you carry around a backpack or something and you skateboard, you can just slip that in there, and a foldable scooter is even better because they fold in half and they actually seem to be even smaller, and they fit in backpacks rather well. Faster with more maintenance. These include motorcycles, cars, mopeds, etc. I would not advise having a moped for crime fighting. You can. I've seen people crime fight with Segways, but they're kinda slow. No offense. They don't go that fast. It's like slightly faster than walking, but not really. and most people who don't patrol on foot use faster with more maintenance. I know a few Rlsh who skateboard. Many of the Rlsh in the area skateboard or ride bikes, but most of the time, if you don't walk, you have a car or a motorcycle or a Segway, etc. Now, walking or public transportation. Riding the bus or the subway, I don't think is the best way to travel for fighting crime, though I think I have seen Rlsh who do ride the subway a lot of times. But if you have the money, a reliable cab driver actually sounds like a great idea. If you have a cab driver that you're friends with, or he drives you all the time and he understands what you're doing and that you're crime fighting, he'd be a great asset. He could help you out. And, you could call him up. He'll be like, I'll be there in a minute, dude. And he'll show up. And he might even give you discounts if you're, like, really good friends. I don't know. It just sounds like a good idea. Especially if you got hurt or something and you couldn't drive yourself and you had a reliable cab driver guy who was your friend. That just sounds great. Many Rlsh walk to their destinations, but being a Rlsh who walks most of the time, it's not very, it's useful in some instances, and in other instances you find downfalls. Like, for example, most people live in closed neighborhoods, so you can't just walk out of your neighborhood and be in the middle of the action. So you could be solving, like, little things that happen in your neighborhood, but if something happens 2 neighborhoods away, it might be a long way to walk, and by the time you arrive, it could be too late. So, quick and simple transportation, like skateboards and scooters, I think are the best for maybe teen Rlsh, and then faster with more maintenance is really good. But if you actually have the money and a cab driver who you know very well, then I actually think that the cab thing is great. And if you're like really, really rich and you have a chauffeur, even better. Headquarters. Abandoned locations, I feel, are good. As you know, I use an abandoned location. But this doesn't mean a location that is vacant, like an empty house that is for sale. This means a location that no one has been to for years and time has forgotten. They make great HQs. From my own experience, I would advise that you don't use an abandoned location that is in the middle of a suburban area. Because even though no one goes there and time has forgotten it, if you go there enough, people will realize where it is. It's not that hard for them to figure it out, and because they live by it, it's easily accessible. Okay, storage houses. These are rented storage lockers, and I know those seem pretty small, but you can actually rent big ones depending on the selection you have in your area. And the bigger ones can be big enough to maybe hold like a moped or a motorcycle as well as your gear, and the ones that have outlets can actually be used to plug like little computerized things in or charge your night vision goggles and stuff. And those are good for looking over like digital camera information on the computer really fast and things of that sort. Now, you probably won't have a giant computer hub, but maybe a small computer setup or a laptop could easily be put into one of those storage lockers. Also, storage lockers, depending on the location they're positioned in, you can actually get pretty good locks and even keypad locks to help keep others out. Secret rooms. Phoenix Jones is very popular for having shown using a secret room. Some people have the luxury of a secret room or property that only they know of, and where they can house gear and computers and conduct meetings. Secret rooms are really cool, and really out of all these selections, if you had to pick one, I would say whatever is convenient to you. Don't go really out of your way to find an abandoned location. Try to find something that's, I guess, near the action, but not really in the middle of the action. I was about to say, find something that's right where you are, and you can just kind of go, and crime is very popular around it. I wouldn't say that, Because if it's a storage house and there's a crime that's always around it, someone will probably try to rob your storage house. And if it's an abandoned location, then you could show up, and it could be a criminal HQ, like the next time you arrive. A secret room is probably the best, because unlike abandoned locations, they're not just out there. Like, you can't just wander upon it. No one knows where it is, and it's pretty much perfect. If you have a secret room, then you have what I feel to be an ideal HQ. Suit vendors. We've gone into roles now, and some people use the role system, some don't. Zimmerman is popular for creating a really cool, not Zimmerman, I'm sorry, Zimmer. Zimmer was the leader of a Heroes Network group, I think, for some time. I know Tothian is the one who created Heroes Network, and he leads it now, but I could have sworn Zimmer was a big part of it too. And he actually developed this special gear charger thing that uses solar panels or whatever, but I'm getting too much into Zimmer. I just remember him a lot from when I first started. He is known for creating a big role system that just like contains 4 people, and they all complete different roles. And I've created my own role system that has like a lot of roles in it, but keep in mind these don't all have to be an individual person for every role. This can be like one person can do all the roles, or one person can do like a set of roles, and you have like a squad of people who all complete these roles. Suit vendors sell or make, or both, suits and masks to Rlsh. Self-explanatory. Gadget vendors. They sell gadgets and sometimes transportation, like modified vehicles, like maybe a car that has special bulletproof glass and different things like that, to real-life superheroes. Recruiters contact Rlsh to form teams and squads by acquiring new members. For example, they could email you if they see you on a social network or something and see that you do a lot of good things, and they could contact you to join their team. Even if you're not in the same area as someone else, they can still be in your team. They'll just be that division. Like, I'm a part of a few Rlsh teams, and I'm a part of the Rocket City division, while the team itself may be based in, like, mainly Tennessee or mainly in Kansas or something like that. Oracles. Most people know what an oracle is. They help find crimes by monitoring crime maps, police scanners, and I'm going to say Google alerts. I don't know any oracles that do that, but I think it's a great idea. I've been doing it a lot recently. And they report their findings to squad leaders and escorts, and I will explain what those are very soon. I'll actually skip forward to squad leaders, then go back to escorts and continue in order. Going to squad leader, the squad leader is responsible for choosing the best Rlsh in their area for missions they receive from oracles. So the oracle's monitoring a crime map, finds something, then the squad leader, he talks to recruits that have been recruited by the recruiters, and he finds the best new recruits who are in the area closest to where the oracle has found the crime, and sends them to go investigate. He does that. So he kind of finds like the best people to go and sends them, and if it's him or her, then they go. Escorts. Escorts are when Rlsh ride together, like you have a carpool of Rlsh each in a different vehicle. The escort is the leading vehicle, and he talks directly with the oracle. He or she, sorry. I'm going to use he a lot because I'm a guy. The escort will pretty much get information from the oracle, and the oracle could be like, I just heard that there's an incident going on 3rd Street, and the escort would pretty much just start driving to 3rd Street, and because the other cars are following the escort, they'll all just follow him down to him or her down to 3rd Street, and they'll go and they'll fight crime. Base keepers. It would be really cool if I had a base keeper, but we don't really have that, and I should have thought of this earlier. pretty much is someone who helps keep the HQ organized, meaning keeping all the gadgets where they're supposed to be, all the suits where they're supposed to be, keeps the base up to date with the best resources. If there are maps in the HQ or computer systems, they're responsible for keeping the computer systems up to date and making sure that we don't have maps that are like from the 1920s. And they help keep it a secret. Their whole purpose is to try any way to prevent someone from realizing that it is a base. If someone's suspicious that your abandoned building is a headquarters, you pretty much tell the basekeeper that they have to find some distraction or something to make people believe that it is still abandoned, no matter what it is. They are also responsible for HQ security. That would be like padlocks, keypad locks, etc. A medic. Medic is something that Zimmer has in his role group, and pretty much I looked at Zimmer's role system and I got really inspired to make this video, and he made me look at the fact that we don't take into, real concern first aid. Right now, the only thing that the Rock City Rlsh carries is bandages. Like, we didn't really think about first aid being important, but it is, and we should look more into that over time. But pretty much, medic would follow around the crime fighters, the people who are getting right in the action, from a safe distance, because you don't want the medic getting hurt. I'm just saying, that would suck. They follow from a safe distance with first aid and a cell phone with 911 on speed dial, so in case someone gets hurt, they are ready to help out, and they are ready to call 911 when things are really, really serious. Helping hand. Helping hands are a very common form of Rlsh and one of my favorites. They help those in need through donation and volunteering. At the moment, I'm not really inclined to donate. I don't have funds like that, really. But I do donate using those click-to-donate sites, those websites where you click a button and the company donates like per every click that someone does. So you don't really spend any money, you just take the time to click. And you can click once a day on those sites. I love those sites. I do that daily to help donate. I also volunteer at my local library. I feel like libraries are very important and people are forgetting about them. They really are good for getting information out, and it's free information that you can just get locally. So I help a small branch of the library keep running. I do like whatever I can to help out. Crime fighters. Crime fighters stop or report active crimes or crimes in progress. I emphasize the fact that they really help out with things that are currently going on, because I'm about to tell you about detectives. Detectives investigate ongoing crimes, chains of criminal activity, or complete mysteries. The difference between a crime fighter and a detective is the crime fighter more or less will learn that something is going on or run into something going on and help out, while the detective kind of already has an idea of something that's occurring, but it's occurring a little bit under the radar. Like, it's not just a person being attacked, it might be a chain of people being attacked, and the detective tries to find a connection between the different attacks and figure out who was conducting the attacks and things of that sort. And like I said, one person can complete all of these roles, or a collective group of the roles. And that's it. That's all I had. This is Rlsh 101. I'm glad I finished this video, and I'm glad that I actually have done another video, since I haven't done a video in a very long time that has to do with Rlsh. I'm still out doing Rlsh stuff, and I'll do an update on what I'm doing in the Rlsh community in another video. See you then. This is Jet Black, logging off.